Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosie, psychic investigator. So, guys, wow, what has happened? Offices are closed today, so it's Sunday. But I was like, I have to make a video. Yesterday, I went to the botanical gardens. It was amazing, and it's gonna take a while to edit everything. So, in the next few days, I was hoping for today, but I don't think so. I'm gonna have the edited version of the video. Okay, so that's going to be exciting. But a lot has happened, of course, right, with the whole EPS thing, and I've been sort of spellbound by what has dropped, and it's time to ask those questions, right? So let's do protection. I'd like to ask for protection. A beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources that it create the good, the good, and so it is. Okay, so let's get started. So there's so many questions, but honestly, I'm still digesting everything. And uh, there is a video recording of Trump saying this weekend that he's going to sue the Epstein estate. It says he will always here. Donald Trump says he might sue the Epstein estate for political harm. So the question is, what is going on in Trump's mind right now? I mean, there are so many emails, and I don't think, of course, they redacted the ones or didn't with hell or whatever, the ones that where there's extreme, like where Trump looks terrible, right? Like I mean, he appears and we can infer a lot, but there's so many more people and so much evidence of so many other things as well. So I want to know, how is Trump taking this? Really, not what he's saying. What does he think is happening? Okay, so what is going on with Trump and this? How is he taking it? It's interesting, he's shaking, but at the same time is on the counter attack because he has to deny it. And he's a con artist, right? So he's used to denying everything. Wow, okay, I wasn't expecting it. So I'm actually, by the way, guys, I'm sitting on comfortably sitting in my bed because for some reason, I don't want to sit on the desk there. It's close to where my visitor was staying. Remember? Anyway, so I'm here. But Jeffrey himself, remember how he appeared before? And he appears now, he's laughing so hard. Ha ha ha. He thought he was going to get away with it, Rosie. He thought he was going to get away with it. No, no, man. He's not. I see that he shows me the image of himself stamping Trump with like travel stamps. I got motherfucker everywhere. Oh yeah. So okay. Now, what is going to happen right now that this is not even close to the bottom? But what's going to happen? Maybe nothing will happen, right? Or maybe Trump. What will Trump do? Because he's capable of doing anything to try to distract. And of course, I'm talking about the Twitter and the online world. I don't know how the world outside of us here is impacted. So I'd like to know what's next. Interesting. I see that he's like, oh, blah blah blah, changing the subject, kind of acting like a clown, but he's standing on top of a little globe that's, wow, it's raining a lot, by the way, outside. This globe that is made out of plastic. In other words, it starts to deflate and he can't stand up anymore and he starts to fall. So tell me more about the process of the downfall. Okay. And I see again Jeffrey's ears. Okay, so tell me, just go through me, just speak. Jeffrey, I know you're trash, but Rosie. It's been everywhere with me. We're buddies, Rosie. We're best friends for sure. And I was hurt, I was hurt because he wanted to do nothing with me when I set him up, when I created the whole thing. I created him. Wow, wow. I'm getting the perfect image. I'm getting Jeffrey. So, wow, the image I got is Jeffrey with the puppet strings creating, and he's like, yeah, yeah. He created Trump. He created the connection between Trump and the whole Russia. There's something where he is very much a mastermind of a lot of the things that have happened politically, right? And a lot of the emails that came out, or at least one of there's reference to so much of Epstein in Russia, Epstein and Brexit, Epstein knowing about the Ukraine attacks, all kinds of things that it really does feel as though he was a mastermind. But he shows me he was the one, he was Trump's puppet master. But what about Putin? Was that no? But I knew him, so you saw the email, Rosie, where I met with the Russian guy who was really close to Putin, and I told him how to deal with Trump, how his personality works. So okay. Now, Jeffrey, I know it's a difficult subject, but what about when you were unalived? What do you know about what happened and why? This is going to come out. And I have made a deal with the prosecutor. We were in preliminary talks, and they knew that I couldn't talk. But I was just threatening to talk. I wouldn't, maybe talk or whatever. And so he had to keep silent. I had broken the code of silence or whatever. And I had to get rid of me. And so many people are going to go down, like they're going down now. So, okay. Now, and I have to say, I mean, we have lived through this collectively for 10 years of this depravity. It's like it gets worse and worse, and it feels like it never ends, but it feels at the same time that we're getting very close to the bottom of this. And once it reaches the bottom, that's when they collapse. Is this true? Yes, it shows me Trump going to the very deep in the ocean, meaning hitting the bottom of the ocean, meaning that we got to the bottom. This is the very bottom. And then the bodies go up. And that's when we can look at what happened. Okay. So now he's the president. And guys, there are images. I don't know that I can even share them with you because they could go after my channel or whatever. But there are photos of this man, this older man that looks like Leon Black, a very prominent investor, head of Apollo Global Management, right? So there's photos of him with these obviously very young girls. I mean, you don't have to see their face. Like, it's just very obvious, right? And his son, this is like his his son was confirmed. Remember? I think his let's see here. Yeah, actually, Black. Okay, let's see. That's right. So anyway, because yesterday I found him, so hold on. Let me share this with you. Okay, so this guy, what will become of USAID's funding? A billionaire's son has some ideas. Benjamin Black, son of the private equity mogul Leon Black and likely head of the International Development Finance Corporation, wants a piece of USAID's funding to invest in quote unquote pro market projects overseas. So this guy was confirmed in the Senate. Okay. And it's almost like in this administration, you have to have been on that list, connected to that list somehow in order to have gotten a job there. And I'm curious because I want to know. Just looking at this guy in particular, is he going to, what's going to happen to him? Again, he is not, the child is not named on the list, but he's clearly a beneficiary of this, right? It's obvious that the reason why this guy is involved is because of his dad. So what's going to happen to is, so let me look at him somehow. It's interesting because he's more tangential but connected. So is this the reason why this guy Benjamin Black is saying yes, very much so? That's right, because he could be manipulated, because they have compromise about his dad to such an extent that he can be manipulated to do the bidding. And it's saying it's a finance position that chooses where to send money, where to apply money. So yes, he was picked because they had a ton of compromise on his dad. And it's saying he does a lot of drugs. He does, honestly, I have to say, he does look like some kind of like a coke addicted, like finance bro. So, all right. Now, how is he taking this? Because the images were horrific that I saw. He looked so awful, his dad with the girls. It was just gross, like just so gross. Very unattractive dad with a very, very young, several girls. It was just gross. And the way he was so comfortable, it was just gross. So, what is going to happen to him? Is he's angry that they're going, why are they coming after me? I'm smart. I went to this nice school, blah blah blah. And everybody looks at him. Everybody who works with him is like not exactly giving him looks because they can't. They know they'd be fired, right? But it's very obvious. And then I see him doing drugs, doing coke or something, because it doesn't go away. And like he just wants to stop hearing the voices that he hears. He can sense. Wow, and I see that there's young girls haunting from the other side of him because they were victims and they passed away. So, wow, wow. So what's gonna happen now? I see he does something. Oh, I see he has like a violent outburst, but almost like drug-related psychosis of some sort. Does he stay? Well, then I see the burning of the what, like, but not literal, like the administration burning down, and he's like on a drug bender of some kind. And then I see he's arrested for indecent exposure, something. I mean, to be fair, again, it's because he's not on the list himself, but he's arrogant. And we know that the reason why he got things in life is because of who his dad is, right? And he can't stand it. So, wow, wow. All right. So let's keep looking. I want to keep looking at people and situations. So, one of the most disturbing parts, and really interesting, juicy parts of the latest drop are the multiple examples of Peter Thiel's connections with Russians and how Jeffrey Epstein played a major role in connecting Peter Thiel with all these important figures in the government. Okay. So let's look. I want to show you guys these emails. It's insane. Okay. So let's look at it together. Okay. So one. Okay. So there's first email here from June 30th, 2015. Jeffrey says to Peter, Sergei Belyakov, October. And he replies, who is this when? That's Peter Thiel's reply. And Jeffrey says, my very good friend that I'm organizing an innovation conference in Moscow will be in Palo Alto. I'm sorry, I'm reading just here what the email says. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's pretty clear, right? The friend is organizing an innovation conference in Moscow, and he'll be in Palo Alto. He is, I mean, think about it. Jeffrey Epstein is like the intro person introducing these very high level Russian government people to Peter Thiel, right? Then the next messages are from Peter Thiel's executive assistant, um, replying, saying, yes, we would love to schedule some time. I will be sending over some options for July 8th very shortly. So, okay, so that's that. And these are very high level people in the Kremlin, right? Then we see later there's emails of Peter Thiel saying, well, Jeffrey Epstein writing to Peter Thiel saying something like, "Oh wow, hey, but Brexit is only the beginning." Okay, so so the question here really is, I wrote the question. Tech bros are 100% silent about Thiel and Epstein. Now, a lot of these right-wing tech people on Twitter, some of them are picky on some people, but they say zero, right, about him. And the tech press is also silent. They don't say anything about Thiel, right? But what will happen to Thiel, if anything, now that these emails have been made public? Will he face any consequences? And what about his company, Palantir, that has all these contracts with the US government and all other kinds of governments, including the UK? So, all right. So, first, what is going on with the tech bros that they are silent? What's going on? Saying finally they are facing it. They haven't said anything. They're not capable of doing that because they legitimately think they're the greatest thing to have happen in the world. And to them, it's like there's cognitive dissonance. Like, it can't be. I'm just not going to talk about it because it's not possible. We're the greatest, and we believe this man. Of course, he's great, and whatever he has done, it must be made up. Like, they just are in denial. Some of them are aware of it and may have, like, people close to them know what they've been up to. But a lot of those bros, like younger kids, they fall for this. They get into the whole like outright pipeline. I mean, and some of them don't stop and think about it. Okay, so they're processing this. Okay, now what will happen to Teal, if anything, now that these emails have been made public? Okay, tell me. Wow, he is like, I see him injecting himself with some kind of drug today. And he's sort of hiding. I think he has these like houses all over the world. He has private planes. He's not talking to people. He's just. Have you seen? There's a video. I'm sure some of you have seen it online of somebody accosting him on somewhere in Europe. It's like, "Sir, you're involved, and what do you think of this?" And he's just doing, and he could tell by his body language he's such a psychopath. But anyway, so he's and I see he's closing his briefcases like, okay, he wants to go to his bunker. It's like, okay, where are my crypto keys or whatever? And he has this, okay, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go. Okay, so he feels exposed, like he's been exposed. So, but then my question really wasn't exactly what he's gonna do, but what is gonna happen to him. Is anything, it's sort of like, guys, the amount of like impunity is really astounding, right? It's like, come on, nobody's gonna do anything? Okay, so what is next? I see that he gets more and more unhinged, taking more pills. And I see he has weird, like early Parkinson's something because he's taken so much, his liver is so damaged. Okay, so and he has these like, wow, I see him. Okay, and that, I mean, he has he has daughters. He adopted two girls, so he's carrying a child. And I don't mean in this case, I don't think it's for that. It's just he's a parent, just a little strange in it. So I don't know if he's trying to go somewhere like New Zealand, somewhere far away, some island, something. So, but what happens? I think his spiraling, he's despairing. But again, that's not the question. I want to know, when are we gonna see consequences? See, there's a long line of people who have things to say about him, but nobody will take up on them. Right? The press isn't ready. The government isn't ready. Kind of like what happened with when EPS story came out at first. Insane people have all kinds of information, not necessarily even sexual, about Peter, but financial and the way he has threatened people has, it's saying, even on the live, some gotten some. I don't want to get into this, guys, because it's so dark. I don't want to, but so what are the first consequences? It's saying something about the election of Trump. It's gonna come out. He and Musk are involved. Not just Musk, but him as well. And you know, saying, Rosie, you know how he is a big investor in Poly Market. It's not a coincidence that it was all aligned. And a lot of people know about this because even his son was talking about it. Remember the photo of the Poly Market CEO on the night? I think, I don't know if it was in light of the election, but before, but it's like they're all involved in this. Okay, so what happens to Palantir? They have all these government contracts. It shows me the company, like almost like a log, a big wooden log, then cracking in the middle. And as it cracks in the middle, the company collapses. Wow. And it's saying it's going to start collapsing the stock market as well. Wow. Because, guys, I know that it's been heavily manipulated. It's very manipulated stock. So it's saying he's been experimenting, Thiel, with these like pump and dump schemes, all kinds of illegal activity, because he's ultimately a sociopath. He does not care about the world. He wants to enjoy people losing their savings and all kinds of fake investments. Okay, so, oh, another thing, guys, that came out was the whole Bitcoin, the whole crypto thing, and how it's a Russian thing. Russian, Peter Thiel, like they're connected and trying to create this world of the digital currency to upend the dollar and destroy financial stability, destroy not that a lot of people have financial stability now, but you know I'm talking about, destroy the financial system essentially and put their own currency, whatever. And that's what they're invested in. So yeah, and I see it shows me again all the things that they have touched on, that the things they have discussed on these emails are going to collapse because it doesn't survive the light. The light is coming in and it's showing. Wow. Okay.